Welcome, everybody. This is, like it said, What's Possible in Decentralized Finance. I'm joined by Camila Russo and DeFi Dad. How about we do a couple of quick introductions, starting with Camila.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, It Global, for inviting me. This is great. I'm really happy to be on this panel with Mariano and Defiant. I'm the founder of The Defiant. Hopefully, you'll all subscribed to the newsletter and watching the YouTube. But The Defiant is a content platform focusing on decentralized finance. And I'm also the author of The Infinite Machine, the first book on the history of Ethereum.
Yeah. I'm DeFi Dad. I have been in Ethereum or crypto for about 3 years, and I was I think one of the earliest people to get on board with DeFi. Just trying out applications back in 2019, and I have since then been really fortunate. I got to work for a few years at Consensus, working on the Ethereal Summit. I now work on the Zapper core team. I've been with them for almost a year. I actually, coincidentally, am an advisor to the Defiant, so I've been really lucky. I met Cami right around the time she was launching the Defiant, and I write weekly posts in the Defiant. And then I guess aside from that, I host a weekly live stream now called Zapper TV, which happens an hour from now if you want to join us after this.
Mhm.
And Also, I'm an active angel investor in the DeFi community. So thanks for having me too. Really grateful to be here, and especially next to two of my favorite people here in the world.
Same here. Well, quickly about me, I been in the space for a while. I was at Maker for 4 years, ended up leading the smart contracts team. I love DeFi. I've used it ever since its inception. I like to think that I was one of the people who was there for, the birth of this whole movement. So when we think what's possible with DeFi, I love this topic because first off, I think almost anything is possible. But what we're seeing lately is, uh, we're reading stories that really ground uh, everything that we've been doing, and they put it in a different plane, right? It's becoming real. We're going further from just speculation and arriving to things that will help people in the day to day. And we were discussing something that I really wanted to talk about, which was a thread that was started by Romina Cejas, a member from the DeFi Latam community, and it was picked up by the Defiant, by Argent, which was a person in Argentina that they renovated their house from an airdrop, the Uniswap airdrop, the pulled together airdrop, and they managed to renovate their house. And I think that is like a great place to start. Uh, I want to start discussing that a little bit. I think Cami, you wrote about that in the Defiant, or
I'm writing the story. I'm
oh,
setting up interviews with the guy who actually did the renovations, and Romina's putting me in touch with even more people who have similar stories. I'm also getting stories from people in in Iran who also got Uniswap airdrops and like Gitcoin airdrops. So there's like, by reporting this story, I'm getting just like these really interesting anecdotes from just users in the space all over the world, who just by interacting with these protocols are getting rewarded with tokens, and it's really surprising. I've had this experience myself. I think we've all had, of like, oh, like this protocol that I use every day now has an airdrop, like let's, like I'll go claim my tokens, and then like suddenly realizing, okay, like this is an actual like decent amount of money. And I think this, I mean, besides kind of the fact that it's cool to get like free money, I think what's important about this concept is that, like, we're going into a new paradigm of what the internet is like, and how people are interacting with internet applications, and how finance is really part of the internet now, and how people, by using applications, are also becoming owners. So like we as users get rewarded with application tokens, and then these tokens give us power to actually govern and make decisions on the very protocols that we're using. So I think that's kind of what's so interesting about this concept, besides kind of like getting free money, which, you know, is fun and in some cases actually life-changing. So yeah, it's a really nice story.
DeFi, that in your case, you know, working at Zapper, which is kind of, you know, like they say Reddit is the front page of the internet. I like to think that Zapper is the front page of DeFi, right? Because so many people like myself, first website they open up in the morning, and you have to integrate so many of these protocols. So you probably get to work with them also early on. What has been your experience?
Yeah. We get a fire hose of both new and advanced users on Zapper. And in case anyone's new to this, go to zapper.fi. It's a place where you can track your entire DeFi portfolio. So if you've got one or many wallets, you can see it all in one place. So the most important thing of knowing where your money is checked off. But then we provide you with all the other sorts of tools to on-ramp into DeFi, like there's an exchange, there's the ability to invest in liquidity pools, and there's the ability to get into farming opportunities. So, I mean, I feel very lucky. I actually just got off a Zapper community call today, and you know, we'll have users that want to talk to us about the newest, most advanced farms, but we also have people who are like, how do I set up a MetaMask? And I think like my takeaway has continued to center around the idea that those who dip their toe into DeFi, you never meet a person who says, I tried DeFi and it's just not for me. Every single person says, holy shit, this is insane. I can do this with my money. This is the internet coming for my money. I finally have the opportunity to participate in anything I want, do what I want when I want. The only limitation at this moment, especially on Ethereum, is just, can I afford to transact? And that is a radical concept. I mean, the ability to do whatever I want with my digitally scarce money anywhere in the world. And so, you know, I think that, you know, going back to like our original topic, I guess, like what's possible with DeFi, you know, like you guys said, it's anything. But what is so radical about the whole DeFi movement is that it's about people learning what they could have done with their fiat money. In most cases, many of us did not grow up with a wealth manager or, you know, someone in the bank that wanted to help us grow our money. Most of us grew up with some shit savings account, some mutual fund with high fees that screwed the middle and lower classes in every country in the world. And so the difference now is that we have access to a lot of the best tools for earning yield with our money. That's why really rich people are getting on board with DeFi. But that's also why people who are not super rich are also really interested in DeFi. And, you know, I think like as long as we keep our eye on the ball with educating more, like that's why the three of us are here. I think we all believe in that more than anything. The Defiant has, what do you have, like 30,000, 40,000 subscribers now, Cami?
Something like that.
Yeah. So you have all these subscribers, you put out a tremendous amount of free content. Me and Mariano have done the same things through different channels. The goal right now is to educate as many people as possible so that we don't repeat the mistakes of traditional finance. That's the greatest threat to our success in the future, is just not helping enough people learn how this stuff works.
I agree. And in some cases, this learning is gamified, right? Cami, you mentioned the Philippines and Axie Infinity. Can you talk a little bit about that? And is it just a game, or do you think that it is also a gateway into DeFi?
Oh, that's interesting. Um, Yeah, so I was just mentioning this great story that we did at the Defiant. NFTs are becoming a major source of income for crypto newbies in the Philippines to Colombia. So this is a story that kind of goes into how this game, Axie Infinity, is allowing people to earn additional income, in some cases substantial enough that it becomes their primary source of income. And it's these like it's this very kind of cute game where you collect these characters and like have them kind of play against each other and like go to like battles against each other. And by participating, you earn these NFTs, these tokens. And like, you know, everything in Web3, players of Axie Infinity actually own these tokens. It's not like Axie Infinity, the game that owns these NFTs, but like the players have non-custodial wallets. They're earning these NFTs and they can sell them in an exchange to make actual cash. So and people in emerging economies are taking advantage of this because something that maybe might not be very substantial for people living in New York, where really, you know, you need like $100 to cross the street. For someone in an emerging economy, like, you know, a couple $100 like really does make a difference. So I think, yeah, you know, it's not just a game, because it really kind of starts to teach you how to interact with this new world where you are actually an owner, kind of, and you're in control. So the concept of like having a non-custodial wallet, having to be responsible for your private keys, actually owning the assets that you are, in this case, playing with, like these NFT characters, you actually own them and can just exchange them. So I think these games are great gateways into DeFi, because they're ways for people who don't come at crypto from this traditional way that we've been used to, of like being like a Bitcoin enthusiast and being attracted to crypto because of like the digital gold, like hard money aspect, or B, like coming to Ethereum because you're a developer and you want to build kind of financial applications. But now we have this new wave of users who are coming to crypto because, oh, like they're playing a fun game. And like with this new kind of wave of NFTs is, oh, because like they're creators who want to monetize their art. So yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of blockchain games as gateways to DeFi and Web3, as like, yeah, people kind of learn how to interact with this new paradigm.
Cami, I
And
think you hit on a point
go ahead.
around there is an innovation that's happened in DeFi, and that one of the many innovations is liquidity mining or yield farming, whatever you want to call it. Because in the traditional world, an entrepreneur goes out and she or he raises money from investors, and then they use that money in marketing and sales, product development. But the whole goal is to acquire customers. So they're basically burning through investor money. And in exchange, what those investors have ownership in the company, they believe in some sort of upside. The problem with that, of course, is the limitations of who can participate. In most instances, as an investor, you normally have to have money to invest it in a lot of countries like the US. And it also becomes a game of who has access to these sorts of conversations. I don't doubt that venture capitalists work really hard, but I can attest, just for the short time I've been in the world of investing through DeFi, I am amazed at just how we just recycle through the same investors over and over again. So what DeFi did is it flips it on its head and it says, screw that. You don't have to raise money through the traditional routes. You can just launch, let's say with a team of 5 people or something, or even 1, you could launch a protocol and you say, hey, customer who's risking your money, who's spending valuable time, who's talking about my application, how would you like it if I rewarded you with equity in our protocol or our company, if you want to talk about it in that way? And so that's what's radical about liquidity mining is now we've cut out all of this bullshit, this inefficiency that happens, and now we can reward users. And that's what earlier, Cami, you were mentioning, like you and I and Mariana, we've all been blown away by, there are applications that I used because I thought they were cool, and I talked about them because I thought that others should learn about them. The fact that we've gotten airdrops, it's brilliant because we were already aligned with that company. I already loved Pull Together and was going to talk about it till I'm in the grave. And now I actually own a stake in Pull Together, so I'm even more incentivized. Gitcoin just did this. I donated probably $1,000 over 2 years to maybe 500 projects, probably a dollar, one DAI to every single one of them. I mean, the airdrop that I got was, a surprisingly significant amount of money, but I'm still going to remain long in part of it because I believe in Gitcoin and I want to participate in their governance, and I want to see through the future of that protocol. So yeah, I mean, I just, I want to remind everyone, if you've heard that liquidity mining and, farming is a fad, that is wrong. There will be lots of teams that will flame out because of it, but we are going to see this mechanism take hold in other industries. Once others realize that they can incentivize a community of their users to get behind them and raise capital this easily and this quickly, it's only a matter of time before we see that become a standard.
You think that this, the airdrops to loyal users, it doesn't necessarily create a community because the community is already there, but it kind of cements a little bit, right? It doesn't have to, but it's almost like an implicit, secret handshake. It's like a thank you, and also probably becomes, I'm imagining, a virtual shareholder meeting, right, between, I don't know, companies in the SPF 500 and DeFi projects. I would imagine the token holders for the DeFi projects to be among the most diverse crowd ever, right? From pretty much every single country in the world that has internet access, and all of them eventually having a voice and a vote in the future of these projects, which to me are gonna become, the next big companies that'll take over the world.
One thing is probably too expansive to talk about here, but when you go and you think about what's possible with DeFi, I actually think that DeFi in general will be able to dissolve our sense of what is a country or what's a nation state, and really like unite more people. Because like I can tell you right now, like I'm not anti-American, but if you said, where's your greatest loyalty? My greatest loyalty is to the Ethereum community. Why? Because I have more in common with them. I don't know where a lot of my friends that I've made through the community, I often don't even know where they are in the world. I come to find out, oh, you're in Malaysia? Oh, cool. I had no idea. But there's so much in common there because we're living in this digital world that, this this still sort of is that it's that mirror that reflects what is like we're simulating what would be a panel in a physical conference. But like I think this is going to be the default. I think we're all going to live in a world that's remote first, and we're going to thrive in virtual reality. Like the Defiant has a VR headquarters now, and that's the standard. So if the world is becoming more and more default digital, then we need a default digital money. We need a default digital finance, and that's why this is the future. Like we're not going back. There's no one today who's writing letters and is like, oh yeah, email, it just isn't for me. I decided I'm a US mail maximalist, it just, nothing's ever been better. It's me and my friends, we meet up at US mail maximalist meetups, and we just talk about how great the US Postal Service is, like that's what some of the Bitcoin dinosaurs sound like right now. And there's still time. We're still early in DeFi, but I think it's really important that everybody, get on board. This is not going away.
I love that. That's hilarious. Um, yeah, I think you're kind of it's yeah on point there on like what's possible in DeFi. It's this just global network, like global financial system, that's really providing access to financial services for the first time to just people anywhere, who like whoever they are, like all you need is an internet connection and a Ethereum wallet. So I think that's pretty unprecedented. It's really revolutionary, and it does kind of like bring down borders. And so I don't know, like I think we get like very just like idealistic, and but in the end, it's if we want to kind of like bring it back to earth, it's really kind of the ability for anyone anywhere to access financial services, and do something as simple as get their money in a stable coin and start earning interest and start building their wealth and taking control of their assets and hopefully becoming more financially independent. I think it starts with that, and then you can kind of continue building off that. But like for anyone who's just like getting into DeFi and like thinking like, is this for me, this is like really weird, like what are all these like cartoon avatars talking about? But I think like it's just like it's financial access for everyone. That's basically what it is. Like you need to like first like get over that first hurdle of like using MetaMask, approving transactions. That's kind of like will look very weird at first, but once you get over that, it's just very simple, and you can like start increasing your savings and taking control of your money today. I sound like a DeFi ad, but take control today.
No, but one thing that broke my heart last year was I'm very active, as you are, with the Latin American community, and starting to see people getting priced out of
Oh, yeah.
Ethereum mainnet and DeFi because the fees started becoming so huge, astronomical. But it turned out that I'm not going to say that it's a good thing, but it did prompt the community overall to rethink and roadmaps and come out with scaling solutions faster, right? And today it's like a different ecosystem. We can transact on mainnet through either ourselves or through compounding protocols like Yearn, but we can do things on scaling solutions, and that way we bring all the people who may have left, we bring them back. And when I say DeFi, I mostly or exclusively mean DeFi, but on Ethereum in my case, which is, I believe, the most credibly neutral smart contracts blockchain, etc. And to me, it's nice seeing all those people who may have left coming back with scaling projects like Polygon, and now the L2, hopefully the other solutions that are going to be coming out. At DeFi Dad, have you seen any of that? Polygon is supported in Sapper.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
Optimism maybe.
Yeah, if anyone's newer to the DeFi space or to Ethereum, don't be afraid to go try DeFi on Polygon. There's a lot actually also going on Phantom. I recognize there's a lot that goes on BSC, but it's understanding what you said, what's credibly neutral, what's actually is more decentralized, or whatever your definition of what is decentralized versus what is not. As long as you know those risk parameters, I mean, you're good. I think like if someone comes to me and says, I have $20, I want to get started in DeFi, even at 30 Gwei, with super low gas prices right now on Ethereum the last few weeks, I'm like, in good conscience, I know you can have a lot more fun if you get onto Polygon. So, you go to like Zapper, we opted to start supporting Polygon, BSC, and Phantom. All three of these are, I think, appropriately called side chains, despite some of the ridiculous conversations I've heard about that lately. And then you have your true L2s like Arbitrum that's launching very soon. You'll have Optimism, you'll have ZK Sync or whatever it's called, ZK Porter when it goes live. Those are truly like elevated trains, Loopring too. Those are elevated trains on top of Ethereum where they inherit the security and decentralization benefits of Ethereum. So anyways, long story short though, I would encourage anyone, like, don't be afraid to, get on zapper.fi/bridge and move some money over to Polygon. I choose to keep a majority of my assets on Ethereum, but I think that's a privilege at this point. I think it's because I've been here for a few years. And I think, again, I'm very fortunate to be able to do that, to make that decision. But it was some dark days, for months there. We all were looking at gas prices saying, this is so insane. Like when you get up into 200, 300, 500 gwei on a few days, that's not possible for many people. The gas costs more than the amount of money they had to transact with. So, yeah, I guess that's my rant on knowing the difference between DeFi and what is something in a spectrum between DeFi and centralized finance, but it mirrors, it looks just like DeFi, but if you're on BSC, that those validators are ultimately, they're either under the control of Binance or they have very tight-knit relationships, which questionably makes it questionable whether or not it's decentralized finance.
I know, DeFi, that you are a yield farmer. You show a lot of projects on TV. But Cami, are you a yield farmer too? Do you actively use all of these projects? Do you use some?
Well, I test some projects. I'm not actively yield farming. I think what I try to bring with the Defiant is objective and unbiased reporting. So I try to stay away from investing in these any specific protocol. I obviously do kind of testing things out because I need to kind of know what I'm writing about and editing. But yeah, I'm not actively investing, I guess, in DeFi.
Kenny, how about, or you or Mariano, what, one thing I don't want to leave off here while people are watching is, if you had to recommend like 1, 2, 3 applications for those that are newer to DeFi, what are some of the simpler ones you might recommend?
I would say one of the simplest ones, if somebody already has access to digital dollars, be it USDC or DAI, would be just putting them in Polygon and inside Aave. That is, I would say, just about the safest that you can get. They're tried and tested, battle tested protocols. You can start earning some money on your digital dollars. And that is the perfect gateway to slightly more complicated strategies. Like, once you're there, you may want to learn about InstaDApp and how with just a couple of clicks, you can do a loop with your DAI or USDC, and whatever you supplied, you can borrow again and supply it yet again. And instantly you're now yield farming the Matic token, for example. So that to me lately has been my recommendation. Also, in my case, because I know a lot of people who need access to digital dollars, right? They people here in Argentina and other countries, they save in those dollars because, I always talk about the depreciating Argentine peso. So that to me is usually my go-to.
Any of the DeFi apps that have really stuck out to you? I'm talking actually to like protocols. So I'll say default is, I would tell anyone, go to zapper.fi, and click on the farm tab. You can discover there's like 600 opportunities there, and then you can enter any one of the liquidity pools on the pools tab. But if you're not doing that, what do you like, Cami?
So I've actually like had to do this a few times because there's like so many friends and like family asking about crypto and DeFi. So like I guide them through like how to do this stuff. And a lot of like people are just like coming into this without knowing just like the very basics. So I think to start, like anyone just getting into DeFi, I recommend just trying Uniswap, because I think that's kind of like the first thing, like the building block that you need to get like from ETH to like whatever you want. So like just go to Uniswap once you have ETH in your MetaMask, and swap for USDC or DAI or like some stable coin. And then I recommend also like Aave, like getting interest on Dave, on Aave, or like I think it really blows people's minds when I explain Yearn to them. It's like you go, like you can pick any of these strategies. The protocol itself will execute this thing so that you get like the most amount of yield. You don't have to do anything, and that really kind of like blows people's minds. And Set is also like a similar concept. So I think like both Yearn and Set are really great places to go for someone who's just starting out and just wants to put their money to work and not have to do much. Like they're just like very kind of, allow you to have like a very passive strategy and just like start earning interest that way.
A reflection. Cami has a book on the birth of Ethereum and a little bit of DeFi called the Infinite Machine. She actually tells my story of buying a car with a loan from Maker with DAI. That was probably one of the, maybe not the first, but one of the most, one of the earliest examples of actually using DeFi in the real world. And Cami, are you writing anything new with all of this? Probably last summer you can write a Bible with everything that happened last summer.
There are so many good stories in DeFi. I'm itching to write a second book. I'm not at the moment, but I'm collecting stories for the time that I do. I think I need to kind of figure out how to delegate more like defiant work, because right now like I wouldn't have a minute in the day to write a book. But once I figure out how to do that, then I'll get to to writing the second book, which I really like. I can't wait. Just like the stories in DeFi are insane.
There are so many. DeFi Dad, anything you want to add?
No, just I think one of the key takeaways is think about what's in your wallet that's sitting there idle. I'll use the most obvious example of Ether. And, if you can start to find, again, like the easiest way to find opportunities is through an aggregator like Zapper. And you can go there under the farms and search Ether and then start to recognize that, hey, I could take my Ether and be in a curve pool with 50% staked ETH, Steth by Lido, and 50% Ether. Now I'm earning staking rewards, I'm earning trading fees, and I'm earning, in that case, I'm earning a few different reward tokens. So as long as you can self-custody, which is probably that's one of the biggest questions, is can I trust myself to self-custody and maintain these assets? Then you can start to let that money work. And I think idle assets is one of the best places to start. I have something, I'd like more of it. Why don't I put it to work in this thing? BT dubs, you can insure a lot of these things now through like a Nexus Mutual. So anyways, yeah, no, just thanks so much for having me though. This was awesome. Always a pleasure to talk with the Cami Russo and the Mariano Conti.
And the DeFi Dad.